Hi, this is Jule. Welcome to the Infallible Way podcast. This week we will discuss resolves of life issues that relate to the human struggles that we create, the victim projections, how we become victim, and how we can overcome that, the boundaries that we create, and more. All that we have become holds us from being all that we are. What is wonderful is we have the potential to overcome those holds. In the Infallible Way, we create everything we need so that we can overcome those holds, and we realize the freedom so that we can live liberated permanently and consistently. As I've said in every one of my podcasts, the theme will continue as we realize that our experiences, including the people in our lives, our thoughts and our feelings surrounding those experiences, respond to our individual consciousness. In fact, your consciousness is that of a film projector, very similar. It projects into your personal world and it extends to the world at large. One by one, we each make a difference to the experiences that occur, not only in our personal world, but the world at large. The first issue and problem that was presented to me for resolve, the title is A Victim's Struggles. The issue: why do human beings feel a need to struggle to the point addiction becomes the reality? I think my life has become a constant state of struggle. Here's the resolve. The human condition, portrayed by a constant state of struggle, shows up as conflict, fear, and confusion. You create the need to struggle by way of a consciousness that is embedded and projects unease. For instance, when this gentleman was asked why he resorted to beg for money to buy food, the young homeless man responded, "I have been addicted to drugs. I lost my job, my family left me, and I have no money and no place to live." In essence, he struggled as a man without home, without conviction, and no clue that he truly did have the power to go beyond those experiences that he was creating. Unbeknownst to the man struggling at that time, he surrounded himself in his self-made boundaries. Those boundaries create his sense of separate self. We all do that, don't we? He was a self who constantly expressed himself as the man who struggles. He equated himself to that of a victim of his family, of his government, of his peers, and even his own body, because he was ill. He had a very difficult time functioning as a human being. Even more alarming, he continued to struggle to remain separate. And we're here to overcome separation, aren't we? Unwittingly, separation causes suffering, struggling, fear, and confusion. This man was addicted to and identified with being the separate and unique victim of a tragic drama by the way he lived. He came to know nothing other than living alone, wondering what he would eat and where he would rest his head. His illusory lack, and yes, it's illusory, because lack isn't real. Lack is what we project when we are separate from the wholeness and abundance of all that we are. But that illusory lack gave him his excuse for addictions, as well as his public image that invoked fear and pity from those that he confronted. People so often form the vision of tragic episodes of their lives, as if those episodes define who they really are. Consciousness always creates. The source of that separation that he experienced always stemmed from what he had accepted in mind. Deep inside this very special man lies the expression of pure love and pure consciousness, which is the same. There is nothing that he cannot be, do, or have. It is up to him to realize that he resists his true potential. His interaction with a loving soul that faced him not out of pity, but of love that could see his true potential, helped him to realize that he did have the power to rise above being that fateful victim that had nothing more than his illusion. Why is it an illusion when it appears so real to the man who begged for food and no place to lay his head? As he shifts consciousness, he shifts the need for the experience. That's what makes it an illusion. Because the illusion shifts. Actual experience shifts when the consciousness shifts. He now takes steps so that what appeared real yesterday now takes shape as abundance and wholeness. As he stops struggling because he shifted consciousness, he goes beyond the need for boundaries that gave him that sense of separate self. He transforms the energy of resistance so that he realizes his truth. As he continues his work on himself by repairing the breaks that have been caused by his mind and resisted truth, he comes to realize his true self. He comes to express love of self, and that extends to all others. And that's a great story for each of us, because everything we've become holds us from being all that we are. However, what we've become, we can shift. We can move into the reality of the truth, which is wholeness and abundance. The next title, Projecting That You Are a Victim. The issue, is God's way the infallible way? Can I really overcome being a victim? Here's the resolve. The illusion is that God's will is separate from you. That's the illusion. The truth is that God's will is you. Your ultimate purpose is to realize your truth. Your truth is that you are inseparable from God. God's will is inseparable from your unlimited potential to be all that you are. You are free when you overcome all separateness. God's way is the infallible way, and that constantly and endlessly responds to your consciousness, and that manifests your experiences. By projecting that you are a victim, for example, experiences occur that correspond to your being a victim. In the infallible way, you know your consciousness is the source of all experiences. You can identify and repair your breaks, which is your separation, that causes them. You turn your life over to God, not by turning your life to a separate being, but by realizing that your truth is that you are inseparable from God, and therefore you are one with the whole. You truly know your truth, and then you are free. The next title is Boundaries. The issue. Don't we have to have boundaries? Don't we have to set them so that we can protect ourselves from the actions of others? No. A consciousness that accepts boundaries creates experiences that requires a need for boundaries. Boundaries are nothing more than separation. They create your sense of a separate self. Boundaries denote a way to deal with life effects amid conflicts and opposition or separation anxiety. Those boundaries are your needs that you create so that you can identify the break that's caused by mind. They're merely concepts that create struggle, illusions, prisons, and more limitation. As we transform the mind energy that relates to the need for boundaries to pure love, we rise above the need to create boundaries. Yes, we go beyond the need for boundaries. You lose the boundaries that give you the sense of separate self. You express self, and you are free of experiences that demand boundaries. The next title is Struggle. The issue? Life is tough. How do I overcome this constant struggling? Is it even possible? Here's the resolve. Yes, it is possible, and more. It's your true purpose. It's all of our purposes. Your experiences stem from their source, which is your consciousness, or your state of mind, which is the same, because state of mind is part of consciousness. As the infallible way, your experiences stem from the illusory notions that life is tough. They are illusory because they are experiences that appear very real, yet they stem from resisting state of mind. They appear in life as your way to identify and repair the breaks caused by mind. In fact, your experiences, including the reactions, are the grandness for self-examination so that you could rise above the separation that you create. By projecting lack, corresponding experiences clothed in lack form on your stage of life. By projecting, for example, a non-existent love life, experiences correspond. Continued projections cause repeat experience. As is characteristic of all illusions, experiences are mutable. They have a beginning and they have an end. The experiences shift as consciousness shifts. So there's no need to struggle. We can overcome. Step by step, as we move through the repair of the breaks, we realize who we are. And that is truth. And that is the grandness that you are. The next title, Feel Better. The issue, must I feel good so that I could finally realize my truth? The resolve, you need not seek the condition of feeling good to realize truth. Rather, you must overcome the body and mind by uniting with the whole of God. By expressing your truth, you are energized and alive in abundance and wholeness of truth. This does not mean you ignore caring for your body in the interim. Your commitment to your truth includes all of you. As you realize your truth, you will always care for your body, since remember, there is no separation. The next title, Truth Corresponds to Truth. Issue, I feel drained and exhausted when I try to help others. How do I help the individual deal with their problems and feel ecstatic without drain and exhaustion? The resolve, you feel drained and exhausted because you help others deal with a personal malady. First, realize there is no problem. If you focus on another problem, you project the condition of the problem that further incites what appears as a problem. If you help another realize wholeness of truth, however, you are energized and alive. Focus on your truth. Truth corresponds only to truth and to truth itself. There's no need to seek feeling good. In truth, you overcome the body and mind. You are energized and alive in wholeness and abundance.